Welcome back everybody, back in the video. Today we're doing an anti-evasion tier list. Now with the Repulsor set coming out, obviously Setsuka existing, I thought about, you know what? Let's sit down and make an actual anti-evasion tier list, right? Because 30% is, oh man, you already know what the word is, right? You already know how you know how it feels to fight a unit that keeps on dodging, right? It ain't fun. I can't even say the word, right? It's fun though. It ain't fun to fight against a unit with 30% evasion, and there is no artifact to guarantee that you're going to have a chance to hit it. So let's go ahead and look at the units that are very, very good to deal with evasion units, which honestly I think there is quite a bit. There's actually a good amount of selection to actually fight just any evasion unit in the future, whenever, right? So I do have it all set up the way it is. Honestly, in terms of debuffs, OP up here, these are like one of the best ways to go about in terms of like just straight up beating any type of evasion unit, right? Luna, I mean, let's be realistic here. Luna literally stops Setsuka passive from just even existing, so I definitely think she is top of her class. DDR doesn't have sleep. If you don't know, if you are sleeping the target, you have a 100% chance to hit the unit. Very, very good. So I do recommend them up here. And it's also very easy to use these two units. Let's be realistic here. Luna, DDR, all you gotta do is push some buttons. Some of these other units, such as the weaker debuffs, you need some setup, kind of, right? Or they're just single target, pretty much, right? These two are miles ahead of everybody, in my opinion, when it comes to just debuffs in general, in terms of dealing with evasion, right? Now, Witch of the Mirror Tenebria, very, very broken. Let's be honest, her S3 will apply regardless, and on top of that, her S2, if it does hit, Rupture is basically like a true damage scale, which is pretty insane, alright? But just her S3 hitting alone is very, very good in my opinion, because if you're able to stun them and all that, well then guess what? They're not really going to be a problem for you, because you just beat them down. Shuna does have an AoE sleep. Overall, very, very good unit. But again, if you don't have this unit, completely understandable. It is a collaboration unit. And again, we very rarely ever get collaboration reruns, if ever, right? Now, I'm pretty sure Slime has gotten a rerun before, but I don't remember if Shuna got a rerun, because I know Shuna is free. Actually, was Shuna free? Or was she a banner? I don't really remember this character, if she's free or not. I'm pretty sure she was free, but I could be wrong about this character. Again, it's been years since I remember this. But yeah, you probably don't have her if you aren't a newer player. Now, the weaker debuffs. So, Archdemon, Naqua, and all that, they do have Seal, but it is a single target Seal. Archdemon is a Ignore ER, very, very nice. Seaside Sarah, Westwind Shuri and actually Bihu, are actually debuffs that do apply without you doing anything, right? Seaside Saria, procs on her S2, automatically happens. It automatically applies the bomb. Westwind Shuri, he's not the one applying bombs, it's the one in the back. And the way the bomb works is, even if they miss, it's still gonna land on them. And all he has to do is just detonate it. And then boom, it's done, right? Doesn't even matter. As soon as he clicks S3, detonates, he could die as well, it doesn't really matter, right? Boom. Very, very nice, right? Bihu does apply burns. I definitely think he's really, really underrated, because burn tick damage does quite a bit of damage. I thought about putting him down there in true damage, but you can pretty much get away with him as a debuffer, right? The burn is kind of insane. He applies a lot of burns, and if you throw his own artifact on there, it's pretty good. Or the one with the Naqua on it. I forgot what it's called, but there is a burn artifact that if you just do a basic attack, it does apply a burn. It's really, really good. So I think Bihu is pretty much slept on, right? Fumir, she does need setup. She does need setup, but she does apply sleep and all that. So I definitely want to put her in the weaker debuffs, right? Don't get me wrong. She does have 9k damage, but I'm pretty sure you have to hit for that to even be applied. And for her to S2 sleep the entire team, it involves quite a bit of setup. Alright, so it's a bit icky using her. Now we do have Lionheart, which honestly I think Lionheart is literally the perfect DPS unit to fight counter evasion units, right? She is literally the only unit, in my opinion, that's perfect to fight the anti-evasion meta, because most of the time, if they are anti-evasion, they are going to counter. Now, with the Repulsor set coming out as well, again, Lionheart Ceremia stonks are going up. She takes 50% less damage as well, thanks to her EE. So that, let's be realistic here, Lionheart Ceremia is going to be the best counter to any evasion unit, especially on the Repulsor set. Alright? So, hey, if she ever comes around in a Mystics or a Headhunt, I would really recommend picking up this character if you do not have her. She's very, very good. She's forever going to be good versus anything that counters. Overall, a 10 out of 10 unit. That buff that she got really helped her a lot. She is much, much better now than she was before. On top of that, she did get her EE, which again reduces 50% damage from a counter, which is insane. That's really broken when you really think about it, right? Now, we have true damage. These units do not care if you miss or not, because the true damage is just broken, right? We have Renak, Yuha, Crowd, Guard Captain Crowd, Dark Corvus, Emo Kairon, Bloom Litica, LRK, Blood Moon Haze, Laya, Melissa, Lethe, and Dizzy. Yes, Dizzy is in here because, again, her S3 will miss. You can run and attack Dizzy, but again, it's if you have the unit. She's just for fun, though. I don't really recommend her. Compared to everyone else is just much better. Kairon is a fantastic unit to use right now because his S3 is going to do a fixed amount of true damage no matter what. He got buffed recently. He's definitely worth using if you do have him. He counters on every single hit. So, like, if you just run this man with, like, Abigail and Shooting Star Katie's, it's going to be phenomenal. All right, this man can pretty much just 1v3 the entire game. Alright, or 1v4 depending on what content you are typically doing. But overall, very, very good. Alright, other than that, everyone else here does true damage. Crowd does damage based on his missing HP, same thing with Yoha. Guard Captain Crowd does set amount of damage based on his defense and all that. Blue Litica, 50% pan, LRK, HP based, damage based on his HP. Blood Moon Haze, same situation. Laya, same situation. But Melissa does curse type damage. It doesn't need to hit. It will be applied regardless. And then you can hit somebody else. And then the damage will be applied via the curse. So it's a little bit weird with Melissa, right? Melissa's like one of the weird ones because, yes, you apply curse on the missing unit, but you don't want to hit the unit with your second skill. You want to go into somebody else. That's usually how it works, right? So keep that in mind. Lethe, same situation. She does, true damage, but she's a little bit slower. It does take time to ramp her up because she obviously needs to S3 into S1 into S1 for that to actually be proccing. So, again, she's a little bit slower compared to everyone else in here. But again, Renak pretty broken. 7k true damage right off the bat. Disgusting. Disgusting, right? Now we have units down here that can pretty much use any artifact in terms of true damage. 3F, Rocket Punch, Tooth, Drink, Fairy Tale. Literally any damage artifact, these units are probably the best options to pretty much use. Bright, Sanya, Boss, Runga, Phyllis, Belian, Amiki, Karina, Emopera, Harsetti, SSB, and Albedo. Now, there may be some other units that I didn't include in here, but I think these are one of the better ones to use in terms of fighting anti-evasion because, again, the true damage is just broken. Amiki is probably going to be more than likely your best friend because she does a crazy amount of damage. And especially with Setsuka going around, Amiki is more than likely probably going to be your best friend because, well, guess what? Amiki is speed, and Setsuka is fire. So, obviously, elemental advantage and all that good stuff. But the only thing you have to be worried about is basically, Setsuka stripping your immortality, and then you may be a little bit spooky. But yeah, overall, all these units very, very fantastic when it comes to running true damage. Now let's talk about the hit chances. So we only have 2 units in the game with 100% hit chance, which is going to be Shout here and Watchashuri. Fantastic units, by the way, both of them. But again, one of them is collaboration, which is going to be Shout here. If you have her, congratulations. If you don't, Watchashuri is going to be your next best option, right? Next best option. Wanda, 70% chance to hit, but it's Wanda, not the greatest. We do have 50% chance units down here as well. Bright Witch Saria, Elegos, and Ludwig are, in my opinion, one of the best 3 units to deal with evasion. Now, Zahak is pretty close second. He does have invincibility. He does give attack buff as well to another unit. Overall, a really, really solid unit. But my biggest problem when it comes to Zahak is his damage output. It's not so good. It's really not. That's really the only downside about him. Same thing with LPK. LPK, very, very good, don't get me wrong. And she ignores damage share, but her damage sometimes just isn't there, right? These 2 units, I do think they are pretty good when it comes to anti-evasion. Their damage is kind of not that great, right? Compared to these 3 up here. And then we do have 20% chance as well, which is going to be Roy Mustang, Milam, Lilibet, and Glenn. Honestly, do not use Glenn. But I got to put him on the list, right? Lilibet, pretty good with her recent changes, but again, she only has a 20% chance on her S3. Milam has an inbuilt passive, same thing with Roy Mustang. They have inbuilt passives to give them 20% hit chance. Technically, you can make Roy have 4 with his artifact, but again, that's just more talking about collaboration if you do have it. But other than that, this is going to be the anti-evasion tier list. Technically, just going in order what's really worth having right now built. Because there is going to be a lot of evasion coming out, especially with the brand new sets coming out. So I think it was worth making an anti-evasion tier list. But again, Other than that, though, thank you for watching the video. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you guys later on. Peace out.